The good news tonight is that a large quantity of missing Army ammunition has been safely recovered in Miami-Dade County. But how the ammo was lost in the first place has some feeling unsafe and angry at what may have been a major case of carelessness.
Lots of us have seen and been shaken by pretend Homeland Security exercises like this one over Miami in 2011. And the sound of choppers, even blank gunfire in the Grove a year later. Nobody got hurt and nothing went wrong, unlike an exercise by these and other Army Black Hawk helicopters in war games Wednesday night along the Miami-Dade Broward line.
It was just loud. I was like, oh, well, I guess because it was right overhead. They came right overhead.
Someone captured the circling choppers on a cell phone.
Mom, what the hell?
The Army, in announcing a series of war games to be played here, said in a release, every precaution will be taken to mitigate the risks for the safety of all. The Army says these operations are going to continue through next Thursday in South Florida with no public notice or warning. So keep your ears open and your eyes up. You never know what might be coming your way.
There they go. Vietnam. There's more than that.
DMV has started issuing real IDs. They're basically an enhanced driver's license that makes getting through security when you're flying a little bit easier.
As we all know, you have to have some kind of ID to get on an airplane, and a lot of people use driver's licenses, which are issued by the DMV, right? Those have been just fine, but about a year from now, that's all going to change. You'll either have to have a passport or you'll have to have a real ID card.
If you want to get on an airplane after 2016 or sometime in there, you're going to have a real ID card.
Russia, India, and China have held their 13th meeting in Beijing. They emphasize that cooperation is conducive to maintaining international and regional peace and stability.
Cooperation will not only contribute to regional peace, stability, and development, but also help building a more balanced and democratic international order.
Do you hate it when you get to the office and then discover you left your ID at home? Well, one company in Sweden has come up with a unique way to make sure that doesn't happen. A microchip implant. NBC's Keir Simmons is in Stockholm this morning with more on that. Keir, good morning.
You've seen it in the movies. A human being merges with a computer to become a so-called cyborg. Well, I have now had a computer chip inserted into my left hand. It cost around $300, and in a moment, in what will surely be a live television first, I'm going to open a door with my cyborg hand.
We're going to put a man inside a machine.
Okay, so they're not going to turn me into RoboCop, but here in Sweden, at this high-tech office block, they're going to inject a computer chip into my hand. Cecilia Osterholm starts her day with this new technology. She swapped her keys for a chip in her hand that uses a radio signal to open doors. You have a chip in your hand there?
That's right. It's been inserted there.
Right. We've watched technology take over our lives.
It's a smart house.
It even happens in Annie. And now it's coming true in real life. And with that, I became part man, part machine. Right, cue the superhuman music, guys. Here comes the big reveal. Here on my left hand, you can still see the mark, is where that chip has been inserted into my hand.
New legislation introduced in the Texas State House last week could allow teachers and school faculty to use deadly force in self-defense against students on school grounds. Yes, you heard that right. The new bill would also allow teachers to use deadly force to protect school property.
A 9-year-old Kermit boy is making national headlines tonight after being suspended last week for what his parents say was just a kid using his imagination.
When Aiden Stewart brought his magic rings to school to show off some of his tricks, his last thought was that he would be suspended. When Aiden's dad, Jason Stewart, got the call that his son was suspended because of his magic rings, he says he almost couldn't believe it.
I called the principal, and he confirmed the story. He said that he told another boy that he was going to make him disappear, and he said that is not tolerated. He had the other kids afraid.
Well, a couple of hours ago, San Leandro police hosted quite the show and tell. They want everyone to check out a pretty powerful piece of equipment that police say the city needs. Or does it?
It's a supercharged rescue vehicle that can also withstand rifle rounds.
It's basically an armored, protected ambulance, so to speak.
The department would use a medevac with its partners in Alameda County, including Fremont Police.
When it's a matter of safety and calling it militarization, I call it safety.
Police say this is basically like a heavy-duty truck. The inside of it, a lot of the equipment is identical to what you would find in an ambulance, but of course the walls are armored, and this can be used as a gun port.
Sharia law, it's how Muslims settle disputes in many countries in the Middle East.
Now that law is being practiced right here in the United States. Tonight only on KITV. You'll hear from 3 of the judges who comprise the Islamic Tribunal. Adam Rakusin asked whether Sharia law can operate within the established laws of the United States.
Decisions are being doled out in what's believed to be a first-of-its-kind institution operating in the United States. In North Texas, just outside of Dallas, these 3 men are the judges who make up what they call the Islamic Tribunal.
I'm told they've also been receiving phone calls from religious leaders in other states asking how they started this tribunal. It's something that could be seen more in the future.
John Boehner has just announced this. Pope Francis will visit Capitol Hill during his trip to the U.S. and will become the first pope to address a joint meeting of Congress on September 24th. He'll also go to New York City. This is an enormous, highly anticipated event, obviously. A very big deal indeed. September 24th on Capitol Hill.
Well, this week, President Obama also made waves with his speech at the National Prayer Breakfast when he spoke of ISIS and then issued these words of warning to Christians.
Unless we get on our high horse and think this is unique to some other place, remember that during the Crusades and the Inquisition, people committed terrible deeds in the name of Christ. In our home country, slavery and Jim Crow all too often was justified in the name of Christ.
And when I finally came to, or woke up, I realized that that wreck had knocked me conscious. It scared the hell out of me. And I mean that literally. I realized I could have been killed that day. What if I'd have lost my life right there that day at Daytona? What would I have done? Would I have gone to heaven or would I have gone to hell? I thought I was a pretty good guy, but folks, let me tell you something. Good guys go to hell. If you don't know Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, you're just a pretty good guy or a pretty good gal, you're going to go to hell. It was a wake-up call. It literally knocked me conscious.
Look out, the mutants are coming to the Florida Keys. Mutant mosquitoes, millions of them. At least that's the plan being considered by federal health officials to head off 2 deadly mosquito-borne diseases.
A British company hopes to prove its genetically modified insects can kill off most of the mosquito population on the island of Key Haven.
At this moment in our civilization, we can create cybernetic individuals who, in just a few short years, will be completely indistinguishable from us.
I believe mind clones will be humanity's biggest invention. The market opportunity is limitless.
Are you a real person? I am as real as you are. How would you explain what a mind clone is?
Mind clone is a digital copy of your mind outside of your body.
Welcome to the world's first artificially intelligent operating system.
If you're thinking this sounds like something out of a movie, you're right. Remember the movie Her?
Please wait as your operating system is initiated.
After decades of research and development, medical scientists have announced that nano-robots capable of isolating and eliminating cancer cells could soon be ready for human testing.
It's a new way to have a baby. Britain has become the first country in the world to approve a controversial treatment known as three-parent IVF. It allows couples to make a baby with DNA from 3 different people.
British lawmakers said yes to creating babies using DNA from 3 people.
This would be the first time that we would intentionally manipulate the human genome. It's something that governments around the world have agreed for the last 20 years that we shouldn't do.
Good morning, Dr. McConnell.
Good morning, James.
This whole process started with the Lazarus serum. The goal here is simple, to bring someone back from the dead. There are all these questions surrounding the morality of bringing someone back from the dead and playing God.
You are playing God with a bunch of dead animals.
If we're going to be asking big questions, we have to be ready for the answers.
Did you know that Microsoft is working on something called HoloLens? It's another headset.
And into the real world, you'll feel like a god.
This morning, the Navy is celebrating the firefighter of the future. The machine is called Sapphire. The robot weighs 143 pounds and stands about 6 feet tall. It is described as having a superhuman range of emotion.
The world's powerful Large Hadron Collider in Switzerland will attempt to recreate the split second after the Big Bang, the moment scientists believe the universe was formed. Stretching for 27 kilometers, 100 meters underground, the Large Hadron Collider is built in a circular tunnel beneath the Swiss-French border. The European Organisation for Nuclear Research is gearing up for the second 3-year run of the Collider, which will take place this March after a 2-year shutdown.
When we start again with the collisions, is that we try to mimic the circumstances from the early universe.
It will fire 2 beams of particles in opposite directions, close to the speed of light.
Small California town terrorized by seagulls. New Brunswick now has its own strange spiraling seagulls.
Something's up, man. I don't know. Seagulls, they must know something we don't.